We had one University of East Africa with the university colleges of Makerere, Nairobi, and Dar es Salaam. And we had so many common services. The railway, the airline, so many of them. The university council. But they broke down 1977. That's why you are now giving me medals that I was among those who resurrected what had collapsed. Therefore, as you talk about the common education area for higher education, it is better if we start by answering clearly for everybody who has got ears to hear and eyes to see, to say, why integration? Why integration? What is the integration for? Because you cannot firmly deal with the how, because you are now talking of the how to integrate, to integrate at the higher education level. But the question is why do you need to integrate in the first place? Now the speech the young man had started distributing is what I gave in 2015, 30th July, in Dar es Salaam, when the late Benjamin Mkapa invited me there. In that speech and in many other speeches, I was dealing with the issue of the why. Why integrate? Why? The good thing is that I've been involved in that movement for more than 60 years now, with our elders of Africa, as young people following them, Kwame Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, Sékou Touré, Patrice Lumumba, Mwalimu Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, Abeid Karume, who were behind them. I was very active from the very beginning. Now, the reasons why we, the Pan-Africanists, you will see it in this longish speech here, but also other documents, we insist on integration are three. Reason number one, have you heard of the word prosperity? If you say you have heard of the word prosperity, then the next question is, how do you intend? How do we intend to create prosperity for our people? The people in Africa, starting with this region where we are. Where does prosperity come from? Can prosperity come from begging? Because some people thought that was an answer. That if you become a client, a puppet of foreign states, they can give you aid and you will be prosperous. But that one has failed, and it was clear that it could not succeed. So therefore, in the 1960s, when we were grappling with these problems, we discovered that the only way you can create prosperity for your people is when each family, as Mama was saying here, is when each individual, each family, or a company produces a good or a service, bidhaa au huduma, ndio tunasema kwa Kiswahili. If each individual, each family, each company produces a good or a service, here in our language we add another something else. We say with ekibaro. Ekibaro is a word for us which says, I can see the Murundi smiling because he seems to know, to spy on me, to know what I'm saying in my... What is ekibaro, Professor? You tell these people, tochizi, ochizi. Omunyarwanda kinakano kimanya ekibaro niki? Ekibaro niki? You don't know? I'm surprised. I thought they knew. Do some Tanzanians know? The ones from Bukoba would know. We don't have anybody here who knows. Now, ekibaro would be in Swahili hesabu. Hesabu or kuchambua. I think kwa Swahili cha kuchambua, to know, to produce a good or a service after you analyze, to know that what you are going to, the enterprise you are going to do is the best for your family, given the resource base of the family. If you take, for instance, land and so on. But in our language here, it's very simple. When we say ekibaro, we mean it means each family, each individual, each family, each company produces a good or a service with ekibaro. This is our initial answer. That if you do that sustainably and sell it, you will get money and you solve your problems and you will be prosperous. But then the next question is, if you produce a good or a service with ekibaro, who will buy those goods and services in big quantities? Who will buy? Because if you produce and very few people buy, or nobody buys, you will not succeed, you will fail. Now, when we analyze it, because in the 1960s, we had the big diversions with some of the leaders preaching politics of identity. Politics of identity, of tribe, religion, gender chauvinism, and etc.